welcome to today's Aligned Modern Health Digital Doc presentation. We are joined by acupuncturist Andrew Lenz, who will be speaking and teaching breathing exercises and guided meditation for stress relief. Before we get started, we'd like to introduce Aligned Modern Health, just in case this is your first time joining a Digital Doc webinar. Aligned Modern Health is Chicagoland's top-rated health and wellness service provider, offering support for the whole body. We really aim to get to the root cause of why you're feeling what you're feeling, and not just focus on one symptom or condition that might be troubling you. Each of our 18 clinics in the Chicagoland area are supported by several different core services, including a physical medicine practice, which includes chiropractic care, injury prevention and injury rehabilitation, athletic performance support, and clinical massage therapy. An acupuncture and herbal medicine practice, which is amazing to benefit physical pain symptoms, but also some intangibles like stress and anxiety, sleeplessness and insomnia, men's and women's health and hormone balancing, stomach and gastrointestinal issues, seasonal allergies, pregnancy and fertility support. This practice also offers some other modalities under the traditional Chinese medicine umbrella, like herbal medicine, cupping, and moxibustion. We round out our services in clinic and via telemedicine with our functional medicine and clinical nutrition practice. We like to say this is a great way to look internally to better understand why you feel what you feel externally. We support a lot of gastrointestinal and autoimmune disorders, bloating, constipation, fatigue, migraines, hormone balancing, men's and women's health concerns, food sensitivity testing, and offer nutritional counseling to support those on a food-based journey. Aligned Modern Health is in network with most major insurance providers, and we do offer a complimentary benefits check if you'd like to investigate what your insurance policy might cover with us. We also offer free 15-minute consultations, which are a great way to ask questions personal to you with some one-on-one time with any of our providers at any of our clinic locations. Again, we are thrilled that you are joining us today for breathing exercises and guided meditation, and we hope you get a lot out of today's webinar. You are very welcome to type your questions at any time into the Q&A feature on Zoom. The Q&A feature says Q&A and it has two little conversation bubbles. Please use that for questions instead of the chat. We will address all questions at the end of the presentation. With all of that said, it is my pleasure to introduce Andrew Lenz, our presenter today. Welcome, Andrew.
Hello, thank you all for joining today. Just a bit of background about myself. I'm an acupuncturist here at Aligned Modern Health. I joined the company back in April and I love it. Things are going fantastic. I am NCAOM certified in acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. I received my Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology from Kansas State University. And I followed it up with my Master's of Science in Acupuncture and Traditional Chinese Medicine from the Pacific College of Health and Science here in Chicago. In addition to that, I'm a diplomat in the Institute of Classics in East Asian Medicine, where I completed a 2-year training program that went more in depth on herbal medicine and how to properly prescribe it. Some of my clinical passions include insomnia, digestive disorders, anxiety, depression, and supporting people as they're going through their cancer journey. In addition to that, I absolutely love treating pain. That's what got me into acupuncture and why I'm here today. Before we start talking about our breathing exercises and our guided meditation, I'm just going to give a little bit of a background from both a Western perspective and the Chinese medicine perspective about what's going on. I'm sure a lot of you have heard like the term fight or flight before. So you can broadly categorize our nervous system into two branches. You have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system, that's that fight or flight response we have, and that takes over, it's a survival mechanism that reacts to life-threatening situations, real or perceived. Now perceived is the important part in our modern society. So traditionally speaking, these threats would have been very real. They would have been a rival trying to fight us or an animal trying to chase us, and we would need to react in the moment to get out of that. That doesn't really happen super often in today's society, so that perceived is what we're dealing with more now. because it's the exact same response, but whether it's like bills are coming up or there's a big deadline at work, like this is the same response your body's going to get into. And because we don't have those threats right in front of us, it's tricky like how to respond and get out of that. Some common things that will happen when this happens, you'll have like release of stress hormones, and this will lead to like physiological changes such as like a pounding or quickening heartbeat. Your muscles will tense up and you'll start to sweat. In addition to all of this, all of the blood is going to be shunted to your like arms and legs basically, because you're going to either need to like put up a fight or you're going to need to get out of there. Now, over time, being in this mode can cause high blood pressure. It can cause artery clogging deposits to accumulate more readily. It can cause anxiety and depression, especially if really long term. And then some people will seek out addictive patterns because they're in this fight or flight response. They don't know how to get out of it. Now, the flip side of this, the flip side of this is the parasympathetic nervous system. The common phrase given to this one is rest and digest. Calm and connect is another one I've heard mentioned a couple of times. This is a mechanism that calms the body when there is no threat. Kind of what happens is the threat goes away, we kind of calm down, and the blood goes back to our vital organs and nourishes them with the nutrients they need to function and do all the things they do. Ways we can help to activate our parasympathetic nervous system include limiting our alcohol and caffeine content, sleeping at least 7 hours a night. This is a really important one, kind of hard to do in society sometimes. Exercise is a good one. Now that kind of sounds like it get you into the sympathetic, but it really doesn't, because like as you're running, you probably heard that term, the runner's high, before. And that's your body kind of coming down and things going back to where they need to go. Keeping a journal is a very good mindful practice that you can do to kind of get you into the parasympathetic as well. Kind of reflecting on the day and noticing like patterns, things like that. And then a restorative yoga practice or qigong is fantastic. Yoga is very relaxing. Qigong, if you're not familiar with it, is a Chinese kind of breathing exercise, like where acupuncture looks to circulate energy in your body using needles. This will do it with your own breath. Now, some other things you can do available through Align Modern Health. Acupuncture is fantastic at getting people back into parasympathetic. I give this explanation maybe 3-4 times a week to patients, explaining like what acupuncture is doing and what its benefits are. In addition to that, we carry some adaptogenic supplements such as maca, eleuthero, and ashwagandha. These are also fantastic at kind of getting us back into parasympathetic. But today we're going to be talking about breathing exercises and meditation, which are also fantastic at doing this. Now, looking at things from the Chinese medicine perspective, you've probably seen this symbol before, the yin-yang symbol. And this is pretty core and foundational to Chinese medicine as a whole. You'll notice they're like circling each other and they need to be in balance. And that's the key thing here. We'll categorize things as yin or yang generally. And some good examples of yang type activities are going to be multitasking, where you're using more energy. Anything yang is going to be more ethereal, more energy focused. Working as well is very, very yang dependent. Studying, you're committing things to memory that takes energy and that takes effort. Doing chores and sanitizing, again, takes energy and effort to kind of clean and get things more orderly. And then taking care of friends and family and taking care of others can also be very yang, because that takes a lot of effort from us. Now, the flip side of that is going to be the yin activities. Yin things are more ethereal, more grounding, more relaxed. Good examples of yin type activities would be relaxing, breathing deeply, as we're going to be doing today, meditating, as we're also going to be doing today, and then kind of turning everything off and just being in the present moment, and then balancing our lives and our energy. I'm sure you notice, like, our society today is much more focused on the yang side of things. That's just like the natural side effect of it, and those are going to happen whether you want them to or not, and we need to kind of take an effort to put the yin things into our life to achieve this balance. Now, what is the proper way to breathe to activate our parasympathetic nervous system? I'm going to walk through this, and then we're going to do 3 practice breaths here so you can get an idea. So diaphragmatic or belly breathing is the key to activating your parasympathetic nervous system. Throughout the day, you probably don't even notice you're breathing because your body naturally takes over those processes. But when it does that, it is almost always breathing from the chest. it's not using your diaphragm, this big muscle you have at the bottom of your chest that helps to pull the lungs and fill them up and then expel the air out of them as well. So you're not getting those deep, satisfying breaths and not getting all the air you need necessarily. Kind of set up for this, I ask you either lie down on a flat surface or sit comfortably in your chair. Now, if you're able to lie down, you're going to want to gently bend your knees with your feet planted firmly on the ground. Or if you're just in your chair like I am, going to sit upright, making sure you're sitting straight, planting your feet firmly on the ground so you're properly grounded. And then with your knees at like a soft 90-degree angle. You're going to want to place one hand on your chest and then one hand on your belly. While you're breathing, you shouldn't feel this chest hand move, and you should only be feeling this belly hand move. I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes in a second, and when we're practicing, and then you're going to breathe in slowly through your nose, pushing the belly outwards and envisioning the belly being filled up like a balloon, and then exhaling through the mouth, tightening the abdominal muscles and releasing the air back out into the world. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do 3 practice breaths here, and you can just follow my cues or breathe at your own pace, whatever feels better for you. So we're going to go ahead and breathe in from the belly. And then breathe out. Breathe in again. And then breathe out. And then breathe in a 3rd time. Breathe out one last time. Kind of take notice of how that felt, just to get a few smaller deep breaths in before we move into even deeper ones. If practicing at home, make sure to remember to keep those hands in those proper placements, and just that the bottom hand is moving. This top hand shouldn't be moving at all. So we're going to do our second deep breathing exercise. Kind of to shake things up, make things a little bit more difficult here. So we're going to inhale deeply through our nose, and we're going to do this on a 3 count, and I'll count for you. And then exhaling also on a 3 count, and we're going to repeat this 3 times. So kind of set up in the same way you were. Take a second here. You're going to inhale, 1, 2, 3, and then exhale through the mouth, 1, 2, 3. Inhale again, 1, 2, 3, and then exhale again, 1, 2, 3. Inhale one more time, 1, 2, 3, and then exhale one more time, 1, 2, 3. While simply doing these 3 breaths can be very effective, a more advanced look at these considers the differences we can apply to each of these breaths. So that first breath we could call like a centering breath, focusing solely on the breath itself and the physical body becoming more aligned and more rooted in the earth, with gravity flowing through you, leaving you feeling both grounded and weightless, kind of drawing you more into the present moment. Now, on that second breath, you can allow your mind to wander thoughts of being the best you that you can be. Maybe repeating mantras like I'm capable and successful at work, or I'm a loving and nurturing parent, partner, or friend, or I'm a powerful being who can achieve anything I set my mind to. And that third breath, we can think about kind of releasing all our judgments that constrain the choices and cause you to be more reactive to others, allowing a bigger picture to unfold and breathing in the true mysteries and magic of the life in the universe itself. If these interested you, I would highly recommend reading the 3 Deep Breaths, Finding Power and Purpose in a Stressed Out World by Thomas Krum. Next, we're going to kind of complicate things a little bit more, and we're going to do a more in-depth, different breathing exercise. So instead of keeping those counts even this time, we're gonna do 4 for the first inhale. We're gonna hold that for a count of 7, and then we're gonna exhale to a count of 8. This one can be pretty tricky at first, so don't get discouraged if you struggle with it. I struggled with this one when I first started doing it as well. So kind of take a seat, get those feet on the ground. I'll cue everything so you don't have to think about anything. And go ahead and inhale, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale slowly, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to inhale again, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale slowly, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then one more time. Inhale deeply through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale slowly, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some tips for the 4, 7, 8 breathing. Always inhale quietly through your nose, and then exhale audibly through your mouth. Kind of like that, not so pronounced like a lion's breathing you'll see in yoga, but just so you can hear it. When this becomes comfortable, try placing the tongue gently behind the teeth and the tissue on the upper gums. Especially in the beginning, this can be very difficult, like I mentioned. If you're having trouble holding your breath to that 7 count and then exhaling for 8, you can speed it up a little bit, but keeping the same ratio. And so instead of like a 4, 7, 8, you like a 2 second, 5 second, 6 second, or like a 3, 6, 7, just whatever feels more comfortable. In the beginning, you're going to repeat this exercise a few times. After roughly a month of practice, it'll get much easier and you can extend your breath cycles, even to 8 full cycles, to maximize the effectiveness and the overall sense of relaxation you can feel from this. Lightheadedness is a normal side effect of doing this deep breathing. Continue to practice and focus on your breath and remain calm if you're feeling it. Incrementally decrease the counts if you are feeling too lightheaded. And if you need to, just return back to a normal breathing pattern if it's getting just too much to handle. All right, I'm going to lead you all in a nice little short guided meditation I put together. You can all just sit back and relax. I'll cue the breathing. If I'm not cueing breathing, just kind of breathe at a pace that feels comfortable. Let's get started. Let's go ahead and use these next few minutes. Maybe set an intention for the rest of our day. Maybe it's just being more present and grounded. Maybe it's not letting the stresses of the day get to you like they normally do. Whatever speaks to you in this moment. Go ahead and get comfortable. If you're seated, put those feet firmly on the ground, that knee at about a 90-degree angle. Sitting up straight, maybe putting those hands on the belly and chest if that feels right for you in this moment. We're going to go ahead and close our eyes and shift our focus to our breath. Just notice how it feels as you're naturally breathing. Breathing in through the nostrils, kind of filling up the lungs. And then exhaling when it feels comfortable, letting the air flow out through the mouth, letting you start to sink into the present moment. We'll just take a few natural breaths at your own pace here. Now we're going to start to deepen the breath. Inhaling to a count of 4 through the nose, and then exhaling to a count of 4 through the mouth. And I'll take care of the counting. You don't need to get hung up on that. So just listen to my voice. Let's go ahead and we'll do 3 deep breaths here. So go ahead and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale through the mouth, 2, 3, 4. Inhale again, taking note of any areas you're feeling tension in the body right now, 3, 4. And then exhaling, letting go of that tension. 2, 3, 4. Inhale again. 2, 3, 4. And then exhaling again. 2, 3, 4. And melting more into that present moment. A few more deep breaths here. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And then exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale again. 2, 3, 4. And exhale one more time. 2, 3, 4. We're going to deepen our breath a little bit in this next section. So we'll be extending that to a 6 instead of a 4. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhale through the mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling one more time, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhaling again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to add some visualization to this next section, kind of keeping that same 6 count if we can, but whatever feels comfortable for you. Now on the inhale, I want you to imagine the sun shining its bright and loving rays down on you, kind of feeling that warmth fill your lungs as you breathe in. And on the exhale, I want you to imagine that warmth spreading out through your body, kind of melting away any stress it touches. We're going to go ahead and breathe in, bringing in the light. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhaling that warmth so it spreads over us. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling again, bringing in the sun's light. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then exhaling that light wherever it needs to go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling one more time, bringing in the warmth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhaling that warmth everywhere it needs to go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a moment to think of something you can do today that will allow you to feel this way the rest of the day. Maybe it's reaching out to a friend that you haven't talked to in a while and seeing what they're up to, or going to bed a little early so you can get a good night's sleep. Maybe reading a book you've been putting off for a while. We'll just take another few comfortable 6 count breaths here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And go ahead and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then exhale again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhaling one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As we draw to a close, maybe take just a couple breaths at your own pace, whatever feels good. Slowly kind of work back into your body, maybe wiggle your toes and feet a little bit, and bringing yourself back to reality. Please take just 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then when you're comfortable, you can open up your eyes. Just kind of come back into the world. Maybe coming back to that intention you set at the beginning, or reflecting on just how all of that felt. Thank you all for joining us today. I had a lot of fun preparing for this. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll start answering them in a moment. Feel free to schedule a personal consult with me or someone else at Align Modern Health. We'd be happy to talk to you about the services we provide, what we can do to help with anything you have going on. I personally love treating stress and anxiety. It's a passion of mine, which is why I chose to do this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the questions and start answering them. What if you have a hard time holding the inhale? That's a good question. It can be very difficult to kind of hold in those inhales. In high school, I was a swimmer, and that was a big thing for me because you had to learn, and that's kind of where I've developed a lot of these from. I would say the best thing you can do is just keep practicing. It can be kind of hard to hold your breath if you're not used to it. It can be an uncomfortable position to be in. So just practicing is the best thing I can offer. Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. Great. How often and long should you meditate for? Meditation is very difficult. I've been practicing maybe for 6 years now, and I wouldn't even say I'm good at it. I would start with just the smallest amount that you feel like you can, even if it's just for like 30 seconds. The biggest trick I've been given by my mentors for meditating is just focus on the breath. Ideally, you shouldn't be thinking about anything when you're meditating, but that's hard. So focusing on the breath is like the training wheels. So kind of just doing that, like breathe in and breathe out. And those are your only 2 thoughts. The other big trick I've been given by a mentor of mine, it's going to sound silly, but it's labeling your thoughts. So while you're attempting to meditate, you're going to have the weirdest thoughts come across your mind. What he told me is visualize like your mind being a river, and imagine the thoughts floating in the river and going downstream and past you. Like I said, you're going to see the weirdest thoughts. So just not passing judgment on the thoughts you see and just letting them go down. Over time, this will help you kind of get better into meditation. But even starting with just 20 to 30 seconds a day can do wonders, and then extending it as much as you can. It's just so difficult to meditate in our society because we just have so much going on all the time, whether it's computers or watch streaming things or just being out and about in the world. It's just very difficult. If you get lightheaded, you can go ahead and like lower the counts. That's the biggest thing I'd suggest. If you're doing the holding, I wouldn't do the holding breath portion of it. I would just do the inhaling and exhaling until you get used to that. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I can say. And if that's not doing it, just returning back to your own breath pattern. Yeah, you want to avoid getting lightheaded as much as you can. Ooh, how can I use breathing and meditation to help me while I work out? That's a great question. I started biking again this week, and I have been kind of struggling with that, because I'm trying to breathe in just through my nose and then out through my mouth while I'm biking. And if you can practice it and do it well, it gets you into a good meditative pace. Currently with swimming, this is the one I got the most help with because it's the most conducive to this meditative breathing. You're going to want to count your strokes and you're going to want to alternate the sides you breathe on. So if you're doing freestyle, you'll kind of pull back, breathe in on your side, and then get 1, 2, 3 strokes in. You pull your arm back on the other side, and then breathe in on that side. Now the breathe out should happen underwater, slowly exhaling as you're swimming, and then the breathe in will probably be a quick burst gulp because it's all you can really get when you're swimming. I think that is actually all we have time for today. Thank you all for joining. This was a pleasure to prepare for. I would say if you have any more interest in this topic, I highly recommend the book Breathe by James Nestor. I reread it to prepare for this, and it's just such a wonderful book. It's so much thought about the breath, and it's something we don't even think about in our daily practice. If any questions didn't get answered, feel free to sign up for one of our consults with me or someone else in our company. We would be happy to talk about any health concerns you have. Otherwise, have a great day, and thank you for welcoming me into your day. I'm truly appreciative.